All right, let's jump straight into this official Bloomington Athletic Association explainer. We're doing something a little bit different today, really bridging the gap between child psychology and practical soccer drills for your 8 to 10-year-old players. If you've ever stood on the pitch wondering why a perfectly good drill is just completely falling apart, or why some kids suddenly care so much about who's the best out there, well, you're in the exact right place. We are going to decode the 3rd and 4th grade minds.
So here's our game plan for today. We'll start with the middle childhood mind, then look at the drive for industry, strategies for effective coaching, drills that build skills, and finally, fostering true team cohesion.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, the middle childhood mind, understanding the 8 to 10-year-old player. Now, if you've ever coached the really little kids, you know it's basically a swarm, right? Total intuitive play. It's chaotic, but right around ages 8 to 10, everything shifts. Kids transition out of that phase and enter what psychologists actually call the concrete operational stage. This is huge for you as a coach. It means they can finally follow logical rules, they get the concept of fairness, and they can actually sequence complex physical skills. They aren't just playing pretend anymore. They're ready to learn the real game. And to put their brain development into perspective, 3,000 to 5,000. That's the staggering number of new words your players are picking up every single year right now. Why does that matter on the pitch? Because this massive leap in language fuels a brand new appreciation for wordplay, complex instructions, and yeah, they might even start getting your dad jokes. You can have much deeper communication with your team now.
Moving right along to Section 2, the drive for industry and building competence on the field.
According to Erickson's theory of development, your 3rd and 4th graders are smack in the middle of the industry versus inferiority stage. Basically, your players are constantly, and I mean constantly, measuring themselves against their teammates. They're desperately hunting for that sense of industry, which is just feeling competent and mastering skills, to win your approval and fit in with their peers. If they don't find that success, they risk feeling a lasting sense of inferiority, which honestly is a huge reason kids drop out of sports.
This brings us to an absolutely crucial point. You literally have the power to tip those scales towards industry. To keep struggling players from feeling inferior, you have to actively praise their grit and their hard work, not just their natural talent. If a player tries a tough move and totally wipes out, your reaction right there dictates their takeaway. Frame the failure as a learning moment. Say, hey, I absolutely love how hard you worked to try that turn. Boom, you're building their self-belief.
You can intentionally feed this drive for industry with specific drills too, like precision target practice. Their coordination is getting pretty solid, so set specific target zones in the net and have them strike from a distance. Hitting a really difficult mark gives them a highly tangible self-esteem boosting win. And remember the golden rule here. Praise the effort on the misses. You're rewarding the process of building that competence. All right, let's look at Section 3, strategies for effective coaching. Taking all this from theory straight to the pitch. Remember that concrete operational stage we just talked about? Well, here's the catch. While they can think logically now, abstract reasoning is still really tough for them. They absolutely need real-world anchors. If you're on the sideline yelling, "Find open space," to an 8-year-old, that's completely abstract. They might nod at you, but out on the grass, poof, the instruction evaporates. They need something they can visually grasp. So you've got to make the strategy concrete for them. Bring a magnetic tactical board to practice. Out on the field, throw down different colored cones to create physical boundaries. You can even frame an area as a player's personal house. When you give them visual markers to manipulate, suddenly staying in position makes total logical sense to their developing brains. Physically, their fine motor skills are really firing up, meaning they're finally ready for skills sequencing. Younger kids can mostly just focus on one movement at a time, but 3rd and 4th graders can string things together. Set up drills where they dribble through agility cones, execute a specific turn at a marker, and immediately finish with a precision pass. It's a multi-step process that really pushes their coordination and tests their working memory. Let's dive into Section 4, drills that build skills, and the incredible power of peer dynamics. Have you noticed your players actually looking up before they pass the ball, or hesitating to check a defender's run? That is a huge developmental milestone called decentering. They're finally growing out of that toddler mindset where they're the center of the universe, and they're starting to actually understand other people's perspectives. Developmentally speaking, this is the exact moment true teamwork becomes possible. You definitely want to capitalize on this decentering with perspective-taking, passing games, like a 3v3 scrimmage. But instead of just telling them to pass, ask them questions. Ask, where is your teammate running? Or where do they need the ball? You're actively making them practice empathy and anticipation right alongside their physical footwork.
Also, since kids this age are constantly comparing themselves to their peers, use that to your advantage with peer-led demonstrations. When a player totally nails a step over, have them show the rest of the group. It does two amazing things. It gives the demonstrator a massive confidence boost, and it gives the rest of the team a super relatable model. They see their buddy do it and think, hey, if they can do it, I can do it too.
And finally, Section 5, fostering true team cohesion and creating a lasting culture.
Right around ages 9 and 10, their brains start rewiring to naturally crave excitement. You can scratch that itch safely by introducing a move of the week. Make it something just a tiny bit above their current skill level to encourage healthy risk-taking. Challenge them to try it during a scrimmage. Even if they completely mess it up, you're building team camaraderie around a shared challenge and showing them that taking a calculated risk is totally safe and encouraged.
Now, because they have this suddenly intense radar for fairness and social identity, your team environment is everything. Be highly consistent with your rules to satisfy that need for fairness. Absolutely avoid comparing players to each other. And this is so critical. Research shows a big trend of young girls dropping out of organized sports at this age. Deliberately building an inclusive space where effort beats raw talent acts as a protective shield. It keeps all your players, especially the girls, engaged and loving the game.
You are out there doing so much more than just teaching kids how to kick a soccer ball. You're shaping their confidence, you're guiding them through a massive developmental stage, and building resilient kids who understand teamwork. So as you head out to the BA fields this week, keep all this in mind and ask yourself one final question. Exactly how will you praise effort at your next practice? Keep that front and center, and you are going to have an incredible season.